Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. My name is Chris Jenkins, and today I'm going to be talking about this thing that just arrived yesterday. And this is the Unifi HDnano. For anyone that's not aware, the HD series are meant to be are the newer access points which are using the Wave 2 technology, which is actually meant to get gigabit speeds over the wireless. Whereas previously, you have an access point which has, advertises, AC, with a 3x3 radio can, do supposedly 1750 megabits per second, but in reality, it never really happens. You're lucky if you get close to 800, or most of the time 400 over the air in a non-congested space. So this technology is designed to it's actually meant to get close to an actual gigabit over the air speeds. I haven't tried one of these yet. I actually have another Wave 2 product to test it with, so it's going to be a little bit of a tricky test. But I'm just going to open this up for you and show you what it's like. The reason why I picked this up, I needed a bigger access point for my living room downstairs. So most of our rooms have in-wall pros, which are like the in-wall sockets, which are pretty awesome, but they only really cover a room and maybe the one next to it. So in our living room, we don't really have one, so I wanted to make sure the living room, which is a big open space, which is living room, kitchen and dining room, actually has a proper access point. So this is going to go either behind the TV or behind the bookshelf or something like that, just to hide it away. So I was looking like, I'll pick up an AC Pro, which is kind of the go-to default. But then I noticed these are on, I think these are like $20 more expensive than the Pro, and it's a newer technology. So I was like, well, I'll be stupid to buy an older unit, which is still they're solid units, and I definitely recommend installing them. But why should I pick one of these up and give this a go, and theoretically future-proof myself? And also, and the Nano is obviously new, so I thought I'd give it a test and give any feedback on the store. So they have a bigger brother of this, or a bigger sister of this, whatever you would call it. And that's just the HD, which has an extra port in it. But this is its little brother, so it's slightly slower, but a bit smaller, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to open this up and show you what's going on here. So I'm going to try and do this without cutting myself. That's always a good thing to show on YouTube. So yeah, the first thing I noticed about this thing is the new packaging is awesome. I don't know whether they're going to do this for the rest of their lineup, but if anyone that's not aware or hasn't ordered many of this thing, most of the packaging is like the white and the unit's kind of white. They have a white and blue packaging, and then the unit sits in it. This definitely kind of makes it stand out and makes it look, I guess it's a bit more, kind of looks more professional. All the Unifi stuff always looked professional before, but I feel like this is like the next step for them of like kind of enterprisey stuff. So let's do that. The little sleeve comes off. There's little images on the back there. Just the standard stuff of the product lineup. And if you ever order these things, they actually stick a little sticker to them because they come straight from their store. Just to say, I'm going to be open-minded about this. This is still, the firmware in the lockdown. There's not a release candidate firmware. Everything is still beta. So, any issues I come across, you've got to be fair when you're testing this beta stuff. I've got a USG XG8, which is the brand new USG, and it works 90% of the time. And that's the odd thing, but they're fixing it. There you go. This is cool. A new little foam padded top in the box there. I'm pretty sure that's new, I haven't seen that before. Because it used to be like a cardboard inset. Yeah, this thing's like baby. It's tiny. Unfortunately I have a full size one to compare it against, but it's significantly smaller. Just trying to think of something to compare it against. That's a pen. It's a standard pen, and it's only a little bit taller than a pen. So these are going to be pretty easy to tuck into places now, which is pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure we could, you could put these, you could put loads of these in, you wouldn't even notice them. You tuck them into hotel rooms as well if you really wanted to. First thing I noticed about this actually some metal back on this. These things used to be pretty much all plastic construction, but that's solid metal on the back there. It's all plastic on the front. So obviously the antenna won't work if it's having to go through a metal front. But that's pretty cool. I mean, this thing's sturdy. I mean, I'm really impressed with that. One thing I did read about on the forums before I kind of open this up, people aren't too happy with these. It's apparently trickier to mount, and you have this kind of thing at the top here. So yeah, how it locks in. But I'll come back to that. So another sticker saying beta sample there. So the main thing about these is that I've noticed so far is obviously the metal back. This little one, which is HD. What's it called again? HD Nano. Okay, it's not. Only has one port, so you can't daisy chain together. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I normally run a cable to every single access point anyway, because nothing worse than if one cable fails, losing multiple access points. Again, reset switch, standard place, and then a new Gigabit connection. Put that down. What else is in the box? So obviously you've got your mounting brackets, very similar again. You see a little U in the top there. You drill your 4 holes in, mount that to the wall, and then your units clips onto it. Inset. Oh, I don't actually know what that is. I'm guessing, is that a... Oh right, yeah, I remember what this is. So, a few of those like ceiling tiles, the ones that you get in offices, they're like, I can't remember what they're made of, but you obviously can't screw this in because there's no way of attaching it. This is, you'll attach it to you drill through the ceiling tile and you basically bolt it onto the ceiling tile. This is just it's a bit more, it stops you from breaking the ceiling tile you're screwing into, because this is a more rigid back to it. And as per usual, a little quick start guide. I really like the way Unifi do this. Like, you can tell the CEO's ex-Apple, because everything is just very well packaged, very neat. Very professional. Let's have a look. Standard instructions. You plug it in, attach it to your wall, and that's basically it. They're very similar to how all the other ones are. It's just different, just different radio and chipset inside of it. And again, it's the rest of the box, just a little mounting kit, which I love. I like the fact they always include the correct mounting kits. But they would say these mounting kits, if you're going into plasterboard, the raw plugs and the screws used for mounting to walls aren't always the best. I normally use a different set of screws when mounting to a plasterboard wall, just because plasterboard is either half an inch or three quarters of an inch thick, and those raw plugs are not much bigger than a plasterboard. So if you go into plasterboard, then they don't actually attach behind it, so you can still pull the thing off the wall. So if you're mounting some masonry, bricks and stuff like that, then they're fine. That's it. Empty box. Very simple. That's about it. So okay, the next stage. I'm going to plug this in quickly for you, then I'm going to switch over to the computer, and then you can see, you're able to see what it looks like on the dashboard. And I should expect it to boot up and give me a little blue light. Oh yeah, I can see a white light flashing behind it. It's not very bright at all. I mean, yeah, the lights on the old units are very noticeable. It's a bright blue light and then a white light. But this is really hard to see. I mean, I don't know whether that's intentional or whether I'm just not giving enough current through my socket over there, through my PoE connection. But that's it. Any questions, follow up with me about it. I'm going to just show you what it looks like on the controller quickly, and then feel free to ask more questions. Here I am back at my machine and at my controller, which is my home controller. So as you can see, I already have, I'm going to get the cable over here. I already have my I already have my network, so I'm going to plug this into my current network. So I haven't discovered the device yet, so I'm going to go plug this in and hoping the controller should just see it and it should just appear. So this is probably the first time someone's going to look at my network and see things. So here we have this. This is the XG8, my USG running dev software, and this is my 48 port switch, and then these are my 4 in-wall pros. I have one more that's going to get installed in the downstairs office. Just need some more. Need to do a bit of cable running and management to get that into the place I want it. So then we'll have 5 of those in-wall pros, and then this HDnano is going to appear in. Oh, there you go. Cool. It's going to appear in the lounge, the living area. That was pretty cool. So I plugged it in basically when I started talking, and that took about what, a minute to boot up. So you go pending adoption, and that's about it. Not much you can do until you adopt it. Just so anyone's aware, I'm using 5.7.19, which isn't technically a stable release yet, but I haven't found any issues which are enough to annoy me yet. So let's adopt this, and let's get it going. Oh, just to show you how this works. So in my office I have 2 in-wall pros. I still have 1 in-wall pro in my office, and you can look, because these are like micro switches, you can have a look. First, tells you what it's uplinked to, which is my 48 port switch downstairs, and then I can't remember which ports. So it tells you which port it's plugged into, and I've plugged it into the PoE out and data, which for obvious reasons. So what we need to do is need to make sure. I actually need to configure Vlan on this thing because all my access points have trunks going through to them. Yeah, and so I have a couple of different Vlans, and one is an IoT network. So management LAN, yeah, cool. That's where you sit. That's what this device is sitting on. So if I queue that. So reason why, so I have a couple of VLANs in different networks, and I have an IoT network obviously because IoT devices are inherently insecure, like painfully insecure. So obviously I don't want to give them a secure password or access to any other machine, so in case one gets exploited, you know, they can only exploit other IoT hardware and not our entire network. Cool. Okay. So I turn on VLANs on that office port now. So port 1. Okay, that's interesting, and it gives me access to change one port. Oh, I see. I was already editing it, I remembered. That's cool. So this basically wants to be all networks. So it's going to be a trunk port for the time being because the access points need all the VLANs so they can do the different SSIDs correctly. So let's apply that. For anyone that's unaware, they're all basically has untagged as a LAN, and then everything else is tagged. So then the access point works out the rest. I noticed that when we're doing this, it's just saying I can upgrade this to 3.9.14. Actually, it's going to upgrade it to. This is cool because you can actually upgrade it before you adopt it, which is quite nice. So it's going to ask me to upgrade it to 3.9.2.1, which is a pretty good idea because I'm going to guess there's been a couple of bug fixes between those two versions. So just let it do that, and then we'll cut back to once that's done. So that took quite a bit of time. I mean, it took almost about 3-4 minutes. Longer than it normally takes to upgrade the other devices. I don't know whether that's just because it's come from an older firmware or it has to do a few more reboot cycles. But I can upgrade in-wall Pro in about a minute or so. But that took a while. I don't know. That could just be an outlier. One data point does not make a data set. Okay, let's adopt this, and then let's try and do a speed test on it. And I'm going to bump everything up to I don't care about 2G actually. I don't really use 2G that much anymore. Only IoT devices seem to use 2G. Oh wow, this does VHT 160. Oh, I guess this is part of the reason why it does a faster speed, because it can do a huge channel range. That is a wide band. That is a lot of channels. You might struggle to find that many empty frequencies. I guess if you can put one of these in an isolated concrete room, then you're probably fine. But if you're in a house, this is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what it thinks it can fit. So that's now provisioned and connected. That's cool. I'm going to queue those changes and apply it. I'm going to let it find a channel. Cool. All right. So let's see if we can get connect to this one. Apparently I'm connected to 2.5G right now, which is weird. Alright, let's kill my Wi-Fi and then start it again. Hopefully I get it connected to the right thing. To the HDnano, which is a foot from my laptop. Okay, so as I said, yeah, it's this laptop only supports 8 MHz. I don't have a device which does 160 and is a Wave 2. If I find one, I'll come back and test it again and show you actual throughput, because I'll be really interested to see if I can really get a gigabit over the air, because that'd be pretty awesome. So have a look at the TX rate, and the noise should be pretty low because how close it is and the strength is pretty high. But yeah, no, I'm right next to it. I'm within a foot, and I get 702 megabits, floating around. So we'll see if it actually gets closer. Oh, it did bump over 1,000 there. But you can see it's all over the place. So let's run a speed test. I have a gigabit connection here. So let's see what this gets over the air. So low latency, that's pretty impressive. That's cool. But yeah, throughput's not as impressive as I would like, to be honest with you. I mean, some of this could do with I don't have another access point in the room, which I should probably turn off to give it a bit more frequency in the air. There could be firmware upgrades which they can do to improve performance on this. Upload was impressive. That's a pretty decent number. Download's not great. Let's do it one more time just to make sure we're not, could have got bad. But that's one of the lowest latencies I've seen from an access point. These access points don't really get much higher latency. I've never really, I always get like 10 to 12 milliseconds on them. Yeah, it's 4. So they've definitely done some work to bring this number down from their older generation of radios. So that's pretty cool. That means you could probably game over this almost pretty happily. Jitters more to do with my connection. Just CenturyLink are okay. And we're on fiber here, so it's on the high end of okay. So I'm actually going to quickly upgrade. I'll see if I can find new firmware and then try it again. I'll be back. Come back in a second to you. Okay, cool. So in that, I've upgraded the firmware to 3924, which is still not released. But there's been definitely the Nano HD has been mentioned a couple of times in those firmware updates. Found the easy way to check if my device is connected to a specific access point is if you go to the access point, go to client, and then you'll see it's there in Chris MacBook Pro. Doesn't seem to improve the TX rate. I am wondering potentially from actually a little bit. So let's run this again. This isn't real time. This updates every minute when I hit refresh on this. So let's run that again. See if it's helped a lot. I also did some googling to try and find a Wave 2 access point, or sorry, client, and there's the Edison, I think, Edimax. Sorry, they do a USB stick. I was like, God, you're not buying a USB stick to test a gigabit throughput, and that's never gonna work. These about similar numbers to what we were getting before.
Yeah, so I guess that I'm gonna be fair on the access point and say the limiting technology is actually my laptop. You know, this is a 2013 MacBook Pro, so it only has, you know, the basic AC 3x3 antenna, which can't take advantage of the access point. But what it can do for you, even if you don't have a new, it's going to be a while before Wave 2 hardware reaches the shelves and is actually in hardware, in laptops and in phones. Your phone's probably going to be the first thing to get it, because we change our phones every, you know, year to 2 years for most people. So what I did realize as well is this has multiple users, multiple input, multiple output. And what it means is because it has 4 antennas inside of it, I'm pretty sure it's 4 antennas, it can actually do a single it can use a single antenna for each different device, which means that it can talk to 4 devices independently, whereas a normal access point has to share the wavetime, it has to share all the antennas at the same time. So that means in a high density situation, which is thus the HD name, means that if you have 100 devices, they will get shared between the 4 radios, so you actually get 25 devices per radio. So whilst you may not be able to get the raw speed throughput, if you're in like a coffee shop where you have lots and lots of devices connected to it, you know, or a university campus where you have, you know, a conference room or something like that where you have hundreds of devices connected at the same time, this will see a benefit. I don't have enough devices here to show that, but this will show a benefit because it means I can do multiple devices at the same time, even though I may not be able to aggregate the data together to get a faster speed. That's it for now. I'm going to come back when I can finally get my hands on an actual Wave 2 client to really test it. I'm going to do another video and actually show you to actually get some real kind of throughput on this, because I think it's unfair me testing this on my MacBook Pro right now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to ask me any questions. I appreciate any likes or subscriptions if you want to see more videos like this. Again, please ask me for anything you want to see. I'm going to be doing more videos on all of the hardware soon. I just wanted to get this out because this is a beta hardware, and I wanted people who think about testing it to grab it and give you Ubiquiti some support. Anyway, thanks all. I'll talk to you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.